GameRanks presents 10 things Street Fighter V players hate. And let's be clear about this right up front. Street Fighter V is one of the best playing fighting games we've ever played. Seriously, this game is awesome. I love the fact that the combos aren't overwhelmingly long, how just knowing the fundamentals will get you very far, and the balance of each character feels on point. No character feels unfairly overpowered, no character is very easy to cheese with, and overall the fighting system just feels really good. But that doesn't stop there from being moments in Street Fighter V where we start turning to the dark side.
Anger leads to tilt. Tilt leads to saltiness. Saltiness leads to the dark side.
With that said, let's begin with number 10, bad tutorial. For a game as complicated as Street Fighter V, its tutorial is absolutely pathetic. It's like telling someone to do algebra but only teaching them addition and subtraction. Yes, thank you, Capcom. I need a mandatory training exercise to tell me how to move forwards and backwards, but not to tell me what a cross-up is, how to use EX special moves, or what crush counters are, which, by the way, are one of the new big additions in Street Fighter V. The only players that this tutorial will be any benefit to are toddlers, and they probably can't read anyway, so never mind, this tutorial helps no one. All of the things it teaches can be learned within 5 minutes of playing through training mode or story mode, or within 30 seconds of someone telling them what V skills or V triggers are. Come on, Capcom. If we want more people to play fighting games, you need to do a better job of teaching them the advanced techniques to stop people from getting steamrolled online in every match. Number 9, survival mode. The lack of an arcade mode is ridiculous and something that we'll touch upon later, but another problem is that its replacement, survival mode, just sucks at almost every level. For one, this is the only real way to play in a match against the AI. Sure, you can go into training mode and fuddle with a bunch of options, but if you don't want to play online and you don't have any local friends to play with, you're stuck playing one-round matches where your health needs to be purchased back in between matches, and the challenge takes forever to ramp up to a point where you can't beat it just by walking forward and throwing. To make matters worse, costume colors are locked away by this mode, and there are 0 checkpoints. So all too often you'll get to round 28 or 29, which is where the challenge finally picks up in normal mode, get bodied, and then you have to start all over. Ugh, it's awful. Number 8, Ken's redesign. Look, I'm all for making Ken look and play differently than Ryu, Akuma, and the rest of the Shotokans throughout the Street Fighter franchise, but ugh. We're supposed to buy that Ken is the handsome ladies man of the series looking like this? Why is he wearing a shirt that looks like it belongs on a cyborg? Why does he have bananas for hair? Why do those bananas clip through his shoulders during the versus screen? Number 7, only one stage with interactive elements. This is a minor thing, but something that I can't let go. Remember back at Capcom Cup when Street Fighter V was first introduced, and they showed off the Streets of Hong Kong stage, where a character could get blasted through the wall of a restaurant and could wind up with a bowl of noodles on their head? That was awesome! It was a great moment and it set our expectations on what we would eventually see in Street Fighter V. Only, it turned out to be mostly BS. That stage is the only one with interactive elements, and even then there's no bowl of noodles that can wind up on the other player's head, which would have been a fun little interactive element. Instead, we get a stage where stuff like this happens in the background. I'm gonna get you!
Not if I get you first!
Number 6, getting denied your salty runback. Okay, this one isn't on Capcom, this is just something that Street Fighter V players hate because it's the fucking worst. When you lose to someone online and it's a close freaking match and you just know that you win that match 9 out of 10 times. You hit ready to confirm the rematch and they deny you. How dare you? Number 5, getting matched way outside your skill bracket. Street Fighter V actually has a great league system online where you can rise up through various leagues like Bronze, Super Bronze, Ultra Bronze, Silver, Super Silver, etc. The problem is that too often you get matched with people that are way outside your skill bracket, and every time it happens, it sucks. First off, if you're matching up against someone who's 2 leagues lower, the amount of league points you get is so small it makes the fight almost meaningless if you win. But if you lose, you get punished with a huge loss. On the flip side, if you get matched against someone who is 2 to 3 leagues higher, you stand to gain a lot and lose a little, but once you start going up against Super and Ultra Silver players, you're playing against those who really only lose against the highest level of players online, and it can feel like you're just wasting time getting your ass kicked. Now, this all makes sense logically, but the problem is that there are times when the scenario of getting matched against opponents in a far different league than you happens all too often, and it really affects the quality of online play when you're either smashing other players or getting smashed yourself. Number 4, lag. Lag in any online game sucks, but it's the worst when it comes to fighting games. In matches where it gets super laggy, you might as well be fighting with a blindfold on. Street Fighter V is definitely better than some of the other fighting games I've played in terms of this. But lag is still a big issue, and it's especially annoying that the default option for matchmaking isn't set to asking the player if they want to accept the match. So, if you didn't know, make sure to set your option to ask when you get matched to get a notification to pop up that will let you know the connection of your opponent before you get matched with them. Number 3. Losing. Again, this one isn't on Capcom unless the reason for the loss is due to numbers 4 or 5, but come on, what fan of Street Fighter or fighting games in general doesn't hate to lose? Losing in a good match is fine. Losing in a match where you just get stomped on and didn't even learn anything from it, or worse, a match where your execution was off and you dropped some key combos that would have had you win, and then they deny your salty run back! Losing is something that Street Fighter fans just have to accept, but that doesn't mean that we don't hate it. Number 2, the bare bones release. Here we go. The moment we've all been waiting for. I could populate a top 10 list of the things Street Fighter V players hate that all basically just fall into this category. In fact, I'll do that right now. Number 10, lack of arcade mode. Number 9, lack of any real satisfying story mode at launch. Number 8, no in-game shop at launch. Number 7, no challenge mode at launch. Number 6, no ability to fight AI outside of survivor mode and training mode. Number 5, online lobbies can only support 2 players at launch. Number 4, the aforementioned half-hearted tutorial that does nothing. Number 3, only 11 levels at launch. Number 2, only 16 characters at launch. Number 1, outside of the survival mode, which as we said is pretty bad, there are no new modes that we haven't seen before in a Street Fighter game. Come on, Capcom, we get that you wanted to get the game out in time for Capcom Cup and all these other big tournaments, but the fact is, people are paying $60 for an incomplete game that will be finished several months later, and that sucks. Number 1, Rage Quitters. The only thing worse than the fact that Street Fighter V was released as an incomplete game at launch is the fact that it released without any sort of system in place to punish rage quitters. It is one of the worst feelings you can get in video games to be just one more win away from reaching the next league level, getting your opponent to within a centimeter of his life, and then... Again, come on, Capcom. Even Pokken has a system in place to punish rage quitters. MOBAs have had systems in place to institute timed bans on players who leave the game for years. And Capcom doesn't even count the disconnect as a loss. We're on Street Fighter V, guys. How is this not an issue that's on the top half of the list of issues when it comes to planning out online play? Capcom has since implemented a system to punish rage quitters involving docking the LP of the most egregious offenders, but it still hasn't solved the issue and it's still common to deal with rage quitters, especially at the Super Bronze, Ultra Bronze, and Silver levels. Recently, the official Street Fighter Twitter account tweeted that they would be implementing a new system soon, but it's still pretty bad that it's taken 2 months since the actual release for Capcom to deal with what seems like it should be such a simple issue. And that's it! Again, I just want to emphasize that I love Street Fighter V. It is honestly probably my favorite traditional fighting game that I've played, and it's really because I hold the game in such high esteem that these issues stand out all the more. What do you think? Are there any issues in Street Fighter V that make you rage that we missed? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, click that subscribe button right in the middle of the screen for more awesome videos every single day. I'm your friendly neighborhood Spidey, and I'll see you next time.